Right, Farooq Engineer and Sunil Gavaskar with us. Sunil, to you, 7-wicket win looks very big, but a bit of a scare right at the end with the way the match finished. MS Dhoni in that post-match press conference said he would have liked the game to have finished a few overs earlier. Would you agree with him?
Well, I mean, if we had it going our way, then we would finish the match in about 4 overs, isn't it? Everybody wants a very, very easy win. But look, it was a very, very good performance. Batting, bowling, the fielding also getting better. So all aspects with just 2 matches played, India is on the right track. You've got to say that they're playing well, they're combining well, and more importantly, delivering the goods.
Right. Saima, you said fielding getting better, but do you still think they are up to the mark? Because, you know, tougher battles are up ahead of the Indian team. Today we saw a few drop chances.
Yes, I think, well, drop chances are part of the game. You can't really, say that no other team drops catches. It's just the throwing that needs to be just a little bit better, because if the throwing is a little bit better, then the run, the difference between a run out and a run can be mainly because of the throw. If it's flat, if it's one bounce, it's straight on top of the stumps, it could put pressure on the opposition. But I think apart from that, I mean, these are little niggles. I wouldn't be too fussed about it. I wouldn't be too bothered about it. I'm absolutely delighted at the way both these matches have turned out.
All right, we're going to look at the positives in the 2 matches that India has played so far. But Farooq, to you first, I want to comment on the Indian fielding. How would you rate Indian fielding performances in the last 2 games that you've seen?
Well, I have always said that India need to up the fielding. They've not been par. They're just below par. And they certainly need to improve the fielding, the throwing to the keeper and all that. I mean, these are the things that will come along. But India have just not been under pressure. They've had 2 easy wins. They've just steamrolled Pakistan and steamrolled the West Indies today. The West Indies just didn't get going. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, hats off to him. You're bowling to the biggest hitter in the world today, in Chris Gayle. And the way they tied him down was absolutely superb. West Indies lost the game, I reckon, in the first 10 overs.
Okay, let's talk about the bowling. Farooq, you talk about Bhuvaneshwar Kumar. You were a bit critical of the Indian bowling before this tournament started. But now, 2 games in a row, they've really performed very well. You could say that India has won these 2 games on the back of some good bowling performances. This comes as a big change for us, especially looking at the way they performed in the last few months. Now, how do you rate India's bowling then after these 2 games?
Well, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar was supposed to be the weakest link in our bowling. And there was always a doubt whether he'd produce good Yorkers. But today he was swinging the ball magnificently. It just didn't allow Chris Gayle to get off the boil. And Amit Mishra, once again, thoroughly deserves being the man of the match. Ably supported by Jadeja. All the bowlers are on an absolute roll. Our batsmen, Virat Kohli, Suresh Raina, and all that, Rohit Sharma. Absolutely fantastic they've been playing. India are playing like worthy champions. And if they just continue this, on the way they're going, they're certainly going to be the hardest side to beat in the competition.
Okay, we'll talk about how India will do in this competition and looking at the way that they're performing. But I'll stay with the Indian bowling. Sunny, to you, the way the Indian bowlers have been performing, do you think this is the IPL effect? Because some of these West Indian stars play the IPL very regularly. We saw Ashwin, how he was bowling to Smith, then how he changed, going round, then coming over when the batsmen changed. Do you think this is the IPL effect? They know their opposition very well?
No, I think it's just the pitches. The pitches were different. Pitches are different here. Pitches were different in South Africa. Pitches were different in New Zealand. Nothing there for the Indian spinners. Here there is a fair bit of turn. We saw even in the 40th over of the game, Sunil Narayan, Marlon Samuels getting the ball to turn. So look, it's the pitches. It's the pitches which has made the difference. And to the Indian bowlers' credit, they've exploited to the best of their ability. And that's what it's all about. If you get a good pitch, you've got to try different things. Try flight, try loop, try variety. But on a pitch where there is turn, you just don't try too many different things. You try and bowl the length and line that is going to cause problems for the batsman. And that is what the Indian bowlers have done. The one big difference, of course, has been the inclusion of Amit Mishra. Amit Mishra brings a different color to the Indian bowling attack. He's a leg spinner, gets the ball to turn, bowls at a much slower pace than everybody else. He bowls about sometimes late 70s to early 80s kilometers per hour, which is much slower than everybody else. So yes, he is the guy who's made the huge difference.
Okay. Amit Mishra certainly
if I can just...
Sure, Farooq, go ahead.
If I can just add there, Amit Mishra is definitely, as Sunny says, provided a different dimension to our attack. And as we go along, the pitches are going to get lower and slower. And I think a spinner is going to be more and more effective that way.
All right. It's also lovely to see a
leg
spinner do so well, especially in the shorter format of the game. Farooq, to you, you were talking about positives that India has got in this game. I'm looking at, apart from the bowling, Rohit Sharma, you know, he wasn't getting too many runs in the past few months. Today, he gets a big score. This could come in handy when India face tougher opponents or closer games ahead in this tournament?
Yeah. I mean, India are on a roll. They just can't, they just can't put a wrong foot now. As long as they don't get complacent, I can see India going all the way. They're going to be very, very hard to beat. The way our bowlers are bowling, the way our batsmen are performing. I mean, people like Dhoni and Jadeja haven't even had a chance to go out in the middle and bat. So that just shows these are two big hitters who India can rely on to get some quick runs. They're not even needed yet. So that just shows the strength of the team, the depth of our batting, and the confidence in the way Kohli, especially, and Rohit Sharma have been playing. Absolutely superb.
Okay, Farooq says India are the team to beat for every other team in this tournament. Saiba, I'm looking at the points table, India on top there. Would you agree with Farooq on that? They are looking the strongest team with whatever little evidence that we've seen right now?
Well, I think not every team has played, so we'll just have to wait. But certainly the way they have performed in these two matches, as Farooq said earlier on, both against Pakistan as well as against today the West Indies, they absolutely steamrolled, steam-ironed the opposition. And when a team does that, the opposition starts to take notice, starts to get in a bit of awe of what the team is doing. And that is always a plus factor when the opposition is thinking, oh my God, I think they've got a very good team, very well-balanced team.
All right, lots more coming up with Sunil Gavaskar and Farooq Engineer. But meanwhile, after losing to India in their first match, Pakistan put up a much better display against Australia today, batting first. The men in green put a huge total of 191 for 5 in 20 overs. The star of the match was Umar Akmal, who smashed 94 runs off just 54 balls. In reply, Australia put up a good performance with Maxwell scoring 74 and Aaron Finch 65. But that wasn't enough as the 2009 champions won the match by 16 runs. Interestingly, Pakistan did not concede a single wide and just one no ball in their 20 overs. All right, Sunny, talking about this match, is that what Pakistan always need? A loss against India to wake them up? We've seen them in earlier tournaments as well. I remember whenever they lose to India, they wake up and then they put up a good show.
Yes, because look, India-Pakistan have been arch rivals for last 60 odd years, and every time the team loses against each other, there's always a sense of disappointment, a sense of despair, but which, if utilized well, it can actually lead and galvanize the team to a better performance. And I think that is exactly what has happened with Pakistan. Pakistan have lifted themselves after the loss to India. They could have gone into a shell and allowed themselves to feel that, look, nothing's going right for us, etc. But they didn't do that, and full credit to them. Look, Umar Akmal is a batsman who you can say has underachieved for the kind of talent that he has. But it's good to see the way he batted in the Asia Cup, good to see the way he's shaping up over here. And that actually is a very good sign for Pakistan cricket's batting future, because he's a young man. If he can just curb himself a little bit, he will be a big scorer in all forms of the game.
Okay, Saiba, you talk about Umar Akmal, and Farooq, I want your opinion on him. He didn't get his 100, 94 is what he scored, but many are saying probably the best T20 innings that they've seen. Did you enjoy watching him bat today?
I certainly did, yes indeed. And all credit to Pakistan, because they were under pressure. They had to win. They had to beat, on paper, perhaps the favourites, Australia. Australia, the wickets slower and lower bounce will just not suit Australia. They're big hitters, but I mean, the change of pace, the two-paced wickets that they're going to face, they're not going to find it very easy. So Pakistan, all credit to them. The way Akmal batted, as Sunny says, he's a top-class player, but he has underachieved. And I think Pakistan will be looking to him, to get some really big scores on a more regular basis. Shahid Afridi, of course, is an enigma. If he gets going, he gets going. But all credit to Akmal today.
Okay, Sunny bhai,
And Pakistan.
finally to you. In this loss, you think Australia may have learnt a few things, looking at the way Pakistan performed in their first game, then won this way? They'd probably have some hope doing the same thing, seeing the way Pakistan have upped the ante and probably do the same? Because like Farooq is saying, on paper they look like a very strong team, Australia.
Yes, I think if there is one team that really smarts after a defeat and lifts themselves up, it is the Australians. They have this uncanny ability to lift their game, and don't be surprised that they'll come back very, very hard at the opposition in their remaining matches. So India play them next, and I think India need to be very, very careful against them, despite the fact that they are leading the table now. What India does not want to do is to lose a game, because winning is a habit. One loss is going to create some doubts in their minds.
All right, Sunil Gavaskar, Farooq Engineer, thanks so much for joining us. We'll of course have them back on Thursday. That's when we'll look ahead to that game India is going to play against Bangladesh on Friday.